Well, it's easy as that. If that says live up there, like what, 3 seconds, four
Yep.
seconds, now I'm just wasting time. People are waiting for me to say something cool and catchy. No, I don't got nothing, guys. What's up? Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Card Quest. I've got a special guest in the house tonight. Matt, you go by Matt, right?
I do typically. Yep. Most everybody calls me Matt.
Got the
You know,
Vescovi Manscape, the Vescovi Man Cave in the background. Cheers, you guys. I switched Monday night. I was on coffee. Tuesday night, I'm straight to the wine. It's been raining here all day. It's been a very productive, busy day though. So I've gotten a lot done. I feel great, and so I'm ready to pick Matt's brain, man.
yeah.
So
Let's go.
obviously you're in New York, right?
Yeah. Yep. Out here on Long Island. Born and raised out here. Big time Jets fan. And it's just been a long football journey. I'll say that. It's hard being a Jets fan, but you just stick true with it.
What's the atmosphere like right now with the Zach Wilson selection?
The media is going nuts. I'll be honest with you. Zach Wilson's a big thing, and everyone's talking about him. But I think the bigger story is the head coach. Everybody wants to talk about Robert Saleh and what he brings to the table, and coming over from the 49ers, and just his whole attitude and demeanor. I think Jets fans are just excited. It's been what do you want to say? It's been since Joe Namath, since we won a Super Bowl 68. So I mean, we're just we're hungry. Hungry fan base here, and we just want to be represented by a good franchise. It gets tiring, as a season ticket holder at one point in my life, and stuff like that, and putting money in and just putting your heart and soul into rooting for a franchise. You just hope that they finally get it right. We
Yeah.
not gonna lie, I thought we finally had it with Sam, and that didn't pan out, and now it seems like they're building things the right way. It's like, all right, we let the GM select the head coach. Now the head coach and the GM together are going to pick their quarterback. Every other year it's like they do it all out of order. Yeah. Finally, it sounds like things are rolling in the right direction. But as a Jet fan, you hold your breath. You don't ever, jinx it.
Yeah, definitely. I've been there, man. I've been there in Tampa, and right now I'm on top of the wave. So it's I'm on the other side right now. So I wish you good luck this season,
Appreciate
and I
that.
hope that Zach Wilson pans out because I bought quite a bit of Denzel Mims rookie cards. Although with the addition of Corey Davis, we'll see how that kind of the target share shakes out there in New
Yeah.
York, and how Zach Wilson is, how the game plan shakes out and everything with the new coaching. I definitely can see that hype and excitement. That's cool, man.
Yeah. It's early yet. It's only OTAs, but they got supposedly Mims is running with the second team right now. They really, really are loving their new toy there.
Oh,
In
Elijah Moore, right?
Elijah Moore. Yup. So second round draft pick this year.
Ant
He's
Man.
they're gonna have him all over the place. Inside, outside. They got Jameson Crowder. Now they got Corey Davis. They got Denzel Mims. They signed what was his name? Keelan Cole from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
So yeah, they got a little receiving core going on. I mean, again, Corey Davis is banged up a lot, and it's hard to say what these rookies can do. I mean, right now they're running around with no pads on. Doesn't mean anything, but all signs are saying that Elijah Moore guy is like that's a lot of hype coming out of OTAs and going into training camp, and if he can carry that over to the season, and I'd love to be honest with you, I'm a big Mims guy. I thought he really popped off the page at the end of the season there. He was starting to put it together. I thought, stretching the field, big body, big frame, kind of gave me like the Brandon Marshall feel type of guy. Go up and contest the catch, and he was just one of those guys. And I'd love to see them have two young guys like him and Moore, Mims and Moore, making things happen.
Yeah, for sure, man. That'd be cool. Before we go any further, you have to reveal to everybody what that little squeaking sound is? Sounds like you have a hamster trapped up, or is
Yeah,
that
yeah. I apologize for that. That's so those are parakeets. I was trying to get them quiet, put a sheet over them or something just to quiet them down for the night, but they're not hearing it, so uh, I'm stuck with them for now.
Oh, that's cool. Are they ones that talk? Were they talk?
No,
Can you train them
no,
to talk?
they're just actually the real story
Hey,
is
he's like, no, no, you don't say that about me.
yeah. Now he's cheering up a little bit back there. He's like, I hear you
I could
talking
talk.
about me. Yeah, right. But
That's
yeah, no,
funny.
it's just a family pet.
That that's cool, man. So you and I were talking a little bit backstage, and I'm really interested to dig into your quest, your card quest,
Yeah.
and I want you to share this story with everybody how you got in, and then also your Grail card that you were telling me about before we got on too. That is a really cool story. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Before we dig into that, though, let me just say what's up to Boomer89 in the house, JJ Bama, Joe Garza, what's up? I got your giveaway package out today, brother. Andrew Perry, what is going on? Perry Collectibles. I bought the AJ Brown Field Level Silver from this dude right here a week ago. Hey, Andrew, let me know. Did you send me the extra Will Banfield baseball cards? Was that you, or is there another? I know I bought two AJ Brown Field Level Silvers, so I'm curious which one it was. What's up, Raven Invest, my collaborator and master Excel mastermind right
Hear a
here.
lot about Raven, right?
Yeah, man,
Raven's the
Raven's.
guy.
Yeah, dude, he's an Excel wizard.
That's
And
insane.
so, what's going on, Pittsburgh? This is
Hey,
you were actually telling me about Pittsburgh before we went
this is
live. You said you're a
yeah.
big fan of Pittsburgh's
You
channel
know,
as well. That's cool.
he just keeps it real, man. That's all it takes to get me to watch it. You know, if you got good content and you're authentic, then I'm gonna keep watching. And Pix is legit, and he does a really good auction. I don't want to throw a plug in there, but on Sundays he has a great afternoon auction. I jump in. I always get good deals on cards. So yeah, I like Anthony a lot. He's a good guy.
That's cool, man. So I have to definitely reach out to you, Anthony, on the side. Maybe we could do something in the future, do a little collaboration. You sound like a cool guy, so I appreciate you, man. Mastradamus, what's going on, bro? Nick's in the house. What's up, man? Nick, aren't you on vacation? How's that going, man? I think Nick's like in Hawaii right now, chilling by the beach with one of those little coconut drinks with the umbrella in it. What's the weather like up in New York, Matt? Is it pretty
Oh,
much? Are you guys hot?
today was a scorcher. It was like 92 degrees today.
Ooh,
Yeah,
son.
breeze picked up a little bit at the end of the day, but you know it was a scorcher today.
Yeah. So you're obviously familiar with Gary V.
Very
Um.
familiar with Gary V.
Yeah. Right. What's
I actually got
that?
a funny story about him, but go ahead.
All right. Yeah, you to hold that. Well, because I would like to parlay. That's an interesting story. What's up, gaming God? He's a New York Knicks fan. Now, is that New York Knicks fans? Those are like Giants fans, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, we're
Yeah.
the Giants fans. It's nice to actually. I mean, well, they've been terrible too for a long time, but it's nice to be on like a, you know, it's weird. I'm a Knicks, Jets, Yankees fan, you know, and if I had to choose in hockey, being even though I'm a Long Islander, I actually root for the Rangers, which I get a lot of flack for, but yeah, man, I don't know what to say about it. Just seems like whatever team I root for, they're hard pressed on the luck. Besides the Yankees, but that's a given, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. They're dynasty.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
I don't know. Does this mean something to you, Matt? Because it doesn't mean anything to
yeah,
me,
yeah. Of course, he's
unfortunately.
talking about the New York Sack Exchange. It's Mark Gastineau and Joe Klecko, Abdul Salam. These guys, they were just. Oh, and Marty Lyons, you can't forget him. They're just one of the best defensive lines ever in NFL history. I mean, just racked up all kinds of sacks. I mean, actually, I have their autograph picture framed down in the man cave. They're just anyone who's a Jets fan knows that was the deal right there, man. The sack exchange was it.
The sack exchange. I like that, man. What era was that? Was that?
That was like 70, late 70s. Yeah. It was good stuff. I mean, the Jets, you know, they got decent history. We've had some times, you know what I mean? Even modern day, we had a couple of good runs, you know, and when Rex came over, Rex Ryan was the head coach, and we had 2000 what is it, 9 and 10, I believe. Or
that defense was stingy.
Defense was loaded. You know, they go out and they draft Mark Sanchez, right? They bring in like Braylon.
Oh, yes.
Antonio Holmes and
the butt fumble.
We were doing.
How can we forget the butt fumble?
You just can't. You know, it's funny. It's actually it really is a shame though. If you think about it, that guy, even though after he left the Jets and everything, his career you know just didn't pan out. If you look at his stats for the playoffs and things like that, you know, if the Jets didn't ruin him, the kid had talent. I mean, it's a shame. You know, they kind of just thought that eventually he was gonna, you know, make the people around him better. But the truth was he needed the people to be around him better, you know, and they did that at first, but then they didn't want to keep paying people. So they just would let free agents walk out the door. And next thing you know, he's behind this busted up line and he's throwing the ball to Joe Blow and, you know, he's getting killed. And I'm no Mark Sanchez sympathizer, but, you know, I mean, I respect the guy for what he did those couple of years, even though the defense carried the team. You know, the guy was still slinging the ball. I mean, you watch some of those plays in those playoff games against the Bengals, the Chargers, you know, I mean, some big time plays he was making out there. So, you know, got to show some respect.
That's true. Very true. Very true. So do you feel that Sam Darnold is going to play a lot better now under new coaching organization and everything in Carolina?
I think there's two big pluses for him there, right? They got a coach that believes in him, right? I think that's huge. I think that anytime you're somewhere and the organization is behind you, they believe in you. It sounds kind of corny, but it's the truth is, you know, you can't play somewhere where the people don't really want you. The other thing is he's reunited with Robbie Anderson, who, if you look back, Robbie Anderson had the best year of his career with Sam Darnold in New York. The last year they were together, I think he had like 1,100 receiving yards and like 8 touchdowns or something like that. I mean, it was a monster year. He's stoked. You can see it. You know, he tweets about it. He's talking about it. He's hyping Sam up. I mean, they have Christian McCaffrey down there. They got a good old line. They got Matt Paradis, the center there that used to be over in Denver. He's a big piece of that line. I mean, they got a good run game. They got good receivers. I mean, you know, DJ Moore's legit, right? Like, I'm not saying that these guys are going to the playoffs, but I think that Sam is in a lot better position than he was the last 2 years. And yeah, man, to be honest with you, I'd like to see him do well. I mean, I invested a lot into Sam Darnold. You know, I went out and bought a bunch of jerseys. I got the autographed jersey. I got a bunch of rookie cards. Yeah, you know, you go out and you believe in these guys, and then you know, it seems like the organization is really where the fault is. But Sam had his own faults too. You know what I mean? He wasn't, you know, he wasn't perfect either. But yeah, I wish him luck down there. I think he's going to do good. I think that team is actually going to be decent.
Well, except when they're playing the Bucks, I hope. Two times per year.
Well, we open up against them. Opening.
Oh, week. Really, man? The little revenge game for Darnold.
Little revenge game, week 1, baby. Yeah, I'm excited.
The rookie gets his shot. That's gonna have some hype, man.
Yeah, I think so. It might drive some card prices up too, right?
Yeah, very good point, man.
Sam, or if you know, DJ Moore or anyone goes out there and just has a big game, and everyone's excited that first week. They're just like, oh man, you know, they're jonesing to buy some cards. They've been waiting all off season, and now it's just like this guy pops off the page, and they're ready to jump in, you know. And that's when guys like you strike, right? Get those rookies out and get them sold.
I've been striking as far as buying. That's when that's when I yanked the rod.
That's my weakness right now. I'm doing my favorite part. I like buying more than I like selling.
Oh, dude, I love buying way more than I like selling.
Yeah,
Hands down.
it's bad. It's
I,
bad.
I wish.
But
Yeah.
so I got up with your guy, Kenny V from
Okay.
eBay. You remember you worked
Yeah.
out that deal with him, and then yeah, so I watched your vid and I reached out on IG or I think I messaged him on eBay and was like, hey man, like I saw, so and so bought some cards from you, AC told me about you and I want to work out a deal. What do you got? So you start sending me all these pictures, whatnot. It took me a little while to work the deal out, but I finally got some cards and actually it just showed up today. So got some good
Yeah.
stuff from him though. Yeah, decent deal, not bad. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, I think your deal was a little better. I think you said something like you were averaging like, I don't know, $5 a card. He got me for more like 8, but I'm not gonna complain. I got some PC cards too, so
Nice.
yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. What is going on, Rodney Moore, man, in the house? About to grab a beer. You had 2 nights in a row, man. Switched
Yeah.
straight from coffee to the wine myself. Probably tomorrow night is gonna be beer, and then Thursday night's gonna be liquor, and then by Friday I'm just drinking moonshine,
Oh,
and then
geez.
Saturday is coffee all over again. I'm joking.
You're gonna need the coffee after all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need the coffee after all that, man. What's up, Bulldog Trading, man? What's going on? Man, so Joel's comment about the 90. When did your card quest start, Matt?
So I actually started collecting right around 2000. So I started a little later. I was a big football fan. Pretty much, I jumped in around like really started taking the NFL serious around 13, I'd say, something like that. I always was a Jets fan growing up. I had the Jets starter jacket in elementary school and all that good stuff.
Cool.
But you know what I mean? But I didn't really like pay attention until I started hitting like 13 to 15. And then, I didn't start collecting cards until I was probably, like right toward the end of high school, to be honest with you. It was a weird time. Like most people are like, oh, I jumped in when I was like 8 and, my dad got me in or my cousin got me in or whatever. And, I just, what it was I was so enamored with the draft. I'm a big draft guy, like every year, draft party, chicken wings. I'm following, the combine. I know like, I don't watch college football, but by the time the combine comes, I know like every single player's profile inside now. It's just
Really,
it's something about the draft. I love the draft, and I guess it's right going back to being a Jet fan, right? I don't have a Super Bowl, so I'm gonna watch the draft, right? Like that's
excited every year about the.
But I get juiced. I get real juiced, and so I'm really into it. So then what happened was I was like, oh man, like player profiles, stats, football cards, right? Like cool, like so I started buying up some cards, and I'm just doing retail stuff because out here where I'm at, I'm in like kind of like in the sticks a little bit, so there's no like card. At least I didn't know of any card shops. So
I didn't realize there was a Sticks in Long Island. I didn't realize that was possible.
I'm way out there, man. I'm all the way on like the North Fork, way out east.
So do you find cards out there?
Oh, well, we have like Target and Walmart and stuff, but it's like finding retail just like anywhere else right now.
Oh, okay. The flippers are still, they've got it on a schedule, and they're like,
Well, our Target stopped selling because of that whole, guy threatening and gunning like Cincinnati or something, or St. Louis or whatever it was. So Target just stopped carrying, and then Walmart, it's just everyone knows the schedule, so just forget about it. You're not getting anything. And I work full time. I don't have time to go stand in line and mess around like that. So I got a card shop now though. I got a guy, so I go see my guy, and then when I hit retail, if I get lucky, like I told you earlier, I hit today actually, and then I actually had some luck last week with a bunch of score. I found this. I don't want to say where I found it because I don't want to blow up my spot, but I nailed a bunch of score blaster boxes, like a whole display of them, and no limitation. I don't go crazy like that because I do want to see the kids get them and stuff. I think I bought 4 blasters,
but you're ripping them, right?
I rip, yeah. I can't sit on wax like that. If it's in front of me, man, me and my son. It's more about me and my kid than anything. I invest because I like to think that I can you know, sell cards. Like I was telling you guys, I don't really care about if I can flip a couple cards and turn it into a, you know, like a 1965 Topps Dom Maynard, you know what I mean? Then there I am. So, you know, for me, that's what the hobby's about. It's, you know, spending time with your kid and enjoying, you know, the aspects of it you enjoy. I have no problem with flippers. I don't really have a problem with the people who, you know, get there first and you know, early bird gets the worm. You know, I'm cool with that. But it just sucks when, you know, you walk into the store and your kid's like, oh, Dad, they're out again. They're out again. And you know, some guy went in there and just was like, just scooped everything off the shelf and they put it on eBay the next day for double the money, you know?
Yeah, and you're looking at the prices on eBay to like thinking about getting a pack of cards for your kid, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You know.
no doubt.
Oh, speaking of your son though, because this is your son that's all fired up about cards, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you initially got in 2000 whereabouts, and you at this time you were actually ripping packs, right?
I was
In
ripping,
the
yeah.
2000s, and you happen to rip just some random upper deck packs, right, of
Yeah.
2000 football. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I just picked. I happened to pick up like, you know, whatever, this random box. I think it was sitting on the shelf. I don't even remember where it was. I think it might have been like back then. It might have been Kmart. And I got home. It was Upper Deck Victory, and I'm ripping through, you know, the packs or whatever, and I'm juiced. You know, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm hoping to get like Chad Pennington, right? 2000 rookie Chad Pennington. I'm like, yeah,
That's right, Jets
Marshall,
TV.
Randy Moss, you know, like I'm all in, right? And I'm ripping through this pack and I'm sorting through the cards and I pull up this card and I'm like, Tom Brady. Who is Tom Brady, man? Like, this guy was he even drafted? You know, I'm like looking at the back of the card, like I'm like, I throw it to the side and I just keep going. And I'm just searching for this Grail card, which to me was Chad Pennington rookie, right? And I'm not getting it. So funny thing is though, is I do take care of like even the at the time what I would consider like a crappy rookie card. I still sleeve it and put it, you know, at the time I was a big binder guy, you know, you don't know any better. You just kind of like sliding them in. And yeah, I held on to that card. It's been in my basement for the last 20 years. And I pulled it out this year when I got back into the hobby, me and my son, and I actually sent it. I sent it into Pure Graded X to get graded. And the reason I did that was I know a lot of people will probably, you know, give me a hard time because they're like, oh, you know, like that's a valuable card. It should have went PSA. You would have, you know, worth double the money or whatever, triple the money. But I have no intention of selling that card. You know, the story alone for me is like epic, and you know, they were willing to like make me up. They sent Thomas, you know, Thomas, Costa Rica card collector. He sent me some art and did like this awesome artwork for it. And yeah, man, I'm just stoked to get it back with my art and my design, and you know, so for me it was just about having the card protected and just having a cool case. And like I said, it's not for sale. It's not like I care what it's, you know, what someone thinks it's worth. It's just about me liking to look at it. So
Very true. Yeah, it's protected. It's slab PSA quality plastic. It's got a custom looking slab that nobody else in the market's gonna have.
yeah,
And you know, it's graded using industry standard technology. So yeah, you're good to go. You're not planning on selling it. You're gonna
no,
put that bad boy on the wall, right?
nah, well, I'm a Jets fan, so I don't know if it's going on the wall, but it
That's
definitely
where the
has a
Zach
spot
Wilson will go.
maybe a spot on the shelf behind my Chad Pennington rookie
Well, if
card.
you ever want to send it to me and you want it to go, I'll put it on the wall for you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there you go.
so fast forward to the story about your son. I want you to share
Oh,
the story about your son. And this was what, last year?
no, this was actually early this year. So we're, you know, we're in the
Oh,
midst,
okay.
yeah, we're in the midst of the pandemic. My son's 8 years old, so he's prime like card age, right? Like he's like, you know, he's rough on them, but he loves them and likes to rip, and that's what I like to do. I like to rip, so we're just, you know, ripping together and stuff. But originally how it all happened was we were I don't know, I stumbled upon this video. He likes YouTube way more than I do, but uh he stumbled upon this video about autographs through the mail. They call them TTMs, through the mail. And he was like, "Oh, Dad, like these, you see what these guys are doing? These kids are sending cards to like pro athletes, and then they're sending them back autographed." And I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's really cool." I was like, "I don't know, you know, like." So it turns out like you go on Facebook and you start looking at like through the mail stuff, and I mean, you can get so much information on this stuff, and it was mind-boggling. So I said to my son, I said, "Dude, down in the basement, I probably have 3,000 plus cards." I was like, we'll bring up a couple binders, we'll go through, we'll pick some, he doesn't even know who half these guys are, but I'm like, you pick the ones you like the best. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. You pick who you like. We'll take them, we'll look up an address for them, and we'll send them out. You know what I mean? And so I think we put together, the first week we did it, we put together like 12 and sent them out. And we've gotten 3 back signed, and 8 I think are still pending, and then we got like 1 back return, like mail, wrong address or something like that. But so then once I got my old cards out and on the table, and I'm flipping through and I'm seeing like, I was really big, heavy. I was real heavy on it in like 06, 07, big on the like Matt Leinart, Vince Young, Reggie Bush, all that stuff. Like I was that was like my prime buy.
You got some nice Adrian Peterson rookies.
You believe it or not, I don't have that many Adrian Peterson rookies. I wish I did, because I don't, I respect that. You want to talk about a legend, man. That guy is like the modern day, like, I don't want to say Jim Brown, but that's who he reminds me of. People blaspheme to say Jim Brown and someone else's name in the same sentence, but
he's working out with Derrick Henry right now this offseason, man. Dude looks.
Listen, every time I think that guy is done, he proves me wrong. So I got nothing negative. I got nothing but respect for Adrian Peterson. But no, I don't have enough AP cards. Actually, as a matter of fact, if I was going to invest in somebody, because that guy's definitely a future Hall of Famer, I would definitely buy some of those cards just as a long-term hold. I would, I know a lot of these guys like, I want to flip it now. But if you want to go for a long-term hold, I don't see why AP wouldn't be a good buy,
Yeah, absolutely. Just with his Hall of Fame status, right? I mean, when he does retire, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure, right? You got to figure the minute he hangs the cleats up, it's a 5-year clock. He's first ballot. I mean, right? Like, is there any question in anyone's mind that guy's not first ballot?
No.
He's going in first ballot. I mean, he's putting up yards. I mean, I remember. I don't know if you remember that year with the Vikings when I think he tore his ACL, and the next year he came back and rushed for 2,000 yards. I was like, what? This is guy for real?
Yeah, off the torn ACL.
God,
incredible, man.
Nuts.
Incredible. What's up, Skylar from To The Moon Collectibles? Man, the chat section's on fire tonight. Appreciate you guys. Even in the video that I just released earlier today, I can't thank you guys enough for all the views and the thumbs up and the comments. You guys kick ass. So, Matt, share with us, you got back in earlier this year with your son through the mail, the TTM program, which I've never heard about before tonight, but it sounds really cool.
It is pretty cool. It's cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's an actual program that you actually, do you have to pay a fee to send your cards to these guys? Or it's like,
so there's some guys who will request a fee, and I didn't know any of that, but literally there's a database online. I forget what the websites are, but there's multiple websites that you can go on, and they have multiple people put these guys' addresses on there, and you can just send something out. Sometimes guys will send it back and be like, hey, I charge $5, or you can go online and on these websites, they'll tell you who does charge and who doesn't charge. Like, for instance, like, of course, one of the first people we sent to was Matt Snell, who was the running back on the Jets during Super Bowl III champion, right? And he actually lives right up the island from me, right? So he's only like about 45 minutes. He's only like 45 minutes from my house. But we send a card to him with I make my son, I'll write a letter, or I'll have him like tell me what he wants to say, and I'll write it, or he'll write it, whatever. But we send some stuff out, and Matt Snell, first one we get back, came back like a week later, and he autographed the card. He sent us a a little like green note was printed on like a business card. It was like, thanks for remembering the Super Bowl III champs, New York Jets, stay safe and healthy. And then he signed the index card and, you know, just wrote us a little note, and that was really cool. But yeah, so some of these guys charge it, some guys don't. Some guys you just gotta like find the address. You know, like I said, we probably have 8 still out there. I mean, I've heard of people waiting like 2 years before they get some back. Like my son picked, you know, Aaron Judge, for instance. He was like, and you could send it right to the Yankees facility or to the Jets facility. We sent Jamal Adams. We sent a card out to Seattle. You know, and sometimes these things just take a lot of time. But you know, I don't know what'll come back and what will or won't. I usually send, you know, like I told him, we send cards that don't mean anything to us or have, you know, just assume that they're going to come back with like busted edges because they don't. They tell you when you send these things, don't use like top loaders or anything like that. Just put it in penny sleeve, sandwich it between 2 index cards, and send it out in a standard envelope. And always put like another envelope inside with a return address and a stamp on it, so they don't have to do anything but put the card back after they sign it and send it out to you. But anyway,
yeah, because they're not affluent with the hobby best practices. Huh?
Yeah, but it's not a program. It's just you just doing your thing, you know, and that's it. So that's kind of how it all started. And like I said, once I got my binder back in my hands, and I'm like, oh, there's my 2006 Drew Brees first year New Orleans Saint card, you know, and I'm like, oh God, like, you know, and then that just rekindled it. And then the next time I was at the store with my son, you know, he's like, Dad, this football card's over on the shelf. I'm like, grab a couple of those, bud. Let's go.
So you guys have been ripping. You're obviously a big collector. I know that whenever I was 8, I wasn't thinking about selling anything or you know, doing it for investing purposes. So I'm sure he's not concerned about that. But I'm sure that you're seeing the value increases in cards over the course of the last year, and everything you're seeing on YouTube. Between, you know, the value differences between quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers and tight ends, and then defensive players, just like, you know, way out there. What would you say is like the biggest learning lesson, learning experience that you've had since you've got back in this year?
Yeah, so I'll say this. You know, I think everyone experienced this as, you know, as a, you know, returned, you know, person to the hobby or someone who's just starting out. You're uneducated in the sets. You're uneducated in like, you know, I wasn't uneducated in the sport because I never stopped following football. So, and I'm primarily only football card collector. Like, don't get me wrong, I do have some football. I mean, I have some baseball and some basketball, but primarily my focus is on the sport I know best, right? Because why invest in something that you don't really know what you're investing in?
Amen to that.
So I started on, right, so I come back and it's Tua Mania and Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Oh my God, like, and I'm like, you know, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, these guys are cool, but like, what's the craze? And then I realize, I'm like, you know, I start watching these videos, you know, and we'll go back to Gary Vee, right? Like I see these Gary Vee videos and I'm like, oh, you know, like Gary Vee's firing up this market. People are wanting to buy and stuff. But my mistake was, I hear these names, I take these names and I go right to eBay. I punch it in the search, and now I'm looking at all these sets, right? And I'm like, whoa, I don't know what's what really, but this one says RC on the top, so it's got to be good, right? It's a rookie card. And oh, hold on a second. What? It's $2.99? Only $2.99? Yeah. Oh, buy now, right now. Yeah, sure. And then the next one, it's like, you know, next thing you know, I'm buying, you know, Joe Burrow absolute rookie cards, and I'm buying them by the dozen because I'm thinking, oh God, these guys are getting ripped off. I'm getting a deal. I got all these Joe Burrow rookie cards that are worth freaking $50 a piece, and you guys are selling it to me for $2.99. And then you realize, like, oh man, absolute is, you know, I'm not trying to knock a product, but you know, if you're investing, nobody's buying absolute, you know. So I told you I kind of prepared a little bit, so I'll show you like mistake number 1 is this here. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Let's check it out. Hold on, let me. That is a. I'm going to remove Rodney's comment temporarily because that is a GMA 9 absolute Joe Burrow. Now, is that just a base absolute?
That is a base absolute, and I have 2,
Oh
because
boy.
because and now, in all honesty, I paid $15. I think it was $15 a piece for these, and I said to myself, "Oh man, like, it's graded. It's a 9. It's a rookie card, and it's Joe Burrow. $15. I'm killing it, man. This $100 each. I'm about to make $85 a piece on these. Totally wrong, right? GMA. Who's GMA? Right? Like, you don't know these things. Then I do my research, and I'm like, oh, like, back when I was in it, I was only raw. Like, I didn't even see a lot of graded cards because I never really went to shows. YouTube wasn't a thing, like, you don't know, like, this is what I had. This is what I was studying when I was looking at my cards. You know what I mean?
Check it out.
So
Got him a Beckett, man.
so this is the funny, so, well, to answer your question, so I think the most important thing when you get back into the hobby is to educate yourself on the sets. That's the most important thing I'm finding. Like, even with the bigger name sets like Optic and Select and Prism and all these
Select this year is one of those big ones. That's a prime example. Like, educate
but
yourself on it.
But it's like, oh, well, hold on a second. Yeah, but the concourse really doesn't. Like, there's. So yeah, you want some Select. You definitely want some Select, right? But you don't necessarily want, like, base. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's looking for the shiny. Everyone wants the, and now we've, right. So I've been watching you and watching other guys, and yeah, what's happening is sneaky in the background. What's happening is everyone's buying up the shiny, but now the base is all of a sudden starting to become a little bit more like, hold on, like, there's not as many because everyone wants to buy. So eventually, right, what's going to happen here is these base cards are going to be still sticking around, and people are going to be like, well, the price is so high now on these other cards. I'm going to go back to a base, and it's going to drive up the price of the base, and eventually your base will have some value too. So, I mean, my biggest thing to most people coming back in is learn your sets, understand who, what sets and what cards in the sets hold value, not necessarily just a set. But like I said, I went out and I bought, anything that had a RC logo, anything that had this, that little logo there, I bought, right? Like, I don't even know what set this is, but this is you're right, DeAndre.
Is that a Mosaic? The little logo in the middle and the bottom kind of looks like Mosaic, but although I know Mosaic wasn't around then.
But you know what I mean? My point is that, you can go out and spend a fortune on cards like that and think that you have something, or that you're gonna, and if you're, if you're into penny stocks, if penny stocks are your thing, or penny slots are your thing, you can make money there. It's just, you're and not that I'm some big spender, not that, I think we talked about that before, right? Like, I sweat buying $50 cards, you know what I mean? But you start buying this stuff, and it makes it really hard. So yeah, I'd say that just learn your sets.
Because it adds up quick, and then that all eats into your bankroll, your budget that you've got allocated for cards. And it's
I told my wife when I first got back in, $200 is what I'm going to spend to get started. And that's when I started. I would have rather took that $200 and invested it into like 3 cards that were worth something than to take all that money in volume and buy these cards that are, at this point in time, I'd probably put them in a cardboard box for $1 a piece, right, at the dollar bargain bin. But
wait, so you had $200, and this was when, January?
I'd say I started back up in about March, actually.
March, okay. It was after the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Oh wow, there was a lot of great buys during that time. I was just trying to.
Yeah. But then I started buying retail. I started finding some retail before it went like totally off the rails, right? Like, before people were going crazy over it. I was getting lucky and getting some retail here and there, and I got a local card shop now, so I go to him sometimes. Like, I bought a blaster. It pained me, but I I went and I bought a blaster of Mosaic 2020 Mosaic. Paid $145 for it. I brought it home and I ripped it, and I was just like shaking my head like, did you just spend $145 and rip this? Like, if I held out 2 months after I bought that and sold that mosaic wax on eBay sealed, you know, I probably could have got at least my money back, if not a little more. I mean, that's where the market was insane. I mean, it's still a little rough, but it's, you know, now you can, you know, you're paying like what, $20 over retail, $50 over retail, you know, prices for your standard stuff, like, you know, whatever, like Score or Chronicles, you know what I mean, like stuff like that. They're not gouging you like they were. I mean,
and that stuff is like really like base entry level, you know, cards.
Yeah.
Like there was tons of that stuff. I couldn't believe how much like someone had just bought a ton of it, ripped it, probably kept the good cards, and then sold it to that card shop I went to a week ago with my dad.
Yeah.
It just kind of blew my mind because I'm like, well, here's Justin Fields and here's Trevor Lawrence and here's these other guys. See, I don't think I sold Trevor Lawrence, but there was Justin Fields, multiple rookie cards sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, but he's in his college uniform. You know how I feel about that, right, Matt?
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. So I felt the same way. But I go like 2006, Jay Cutler rookie year, right? That big year for a lot of quarterbacks, right? And that was a big class, and that was a huge set of cards. I remember like people going crazy over Reggie Bush cards, man. And
Reggie Bush, man, he was
people were
mad hype.
Everyone was like, oh, Reggie Bush, clear-cut #1 pick. I remember watching that draft, man. I'm sitting there. I got a beer in my hand. The Texans are on the clock. I take this big swig because I'm like, oh, there's no chance that anyone's going instead of him. And then it's like, the Texans select Mario Williams. And I'm like, all over the TV. I'm like, what? Mario Williams? You know, and looking back, right, like history shows Mario Williams turned out to be a stud, and then he went and played in Buffalo and tore it up too there for a little while. I mean, you didn't, you know, and what'd Reggie do? You know, Reggie turned into a scat back, third down back. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was good returner, but he was always hurt. He was not reliable. I mean, love the guy, respect his college career like hell, man. The guy was awesome, but you know, I mean, but anyway, so I buy all this. It was draft. What was it? It was Topps draft picks and prospects, I think it was called. I bought a hobby box of that offline, and I remember I got a Jay Cutler autograph rookie card out of there. Now he was in his Vanderbilt uniform, so it would turn you off right away, right? But I remember getting that card and thinking in my head, like, if this guy wins the Super Bowl, I just won the lottery, right? Like, and I'm laughing now because what are you talking, like $500,000-600,000 back then, maybe, if he won and it was something. But oh, he says Prism Black. I just got the Prism Black today, right? Chronicles, Prism Black.
Oh, it's Jacob Eason, man. He haunts my packs. Look, he's even, you know, Jacob Eason's still kicking it through your packs because I'm not buying packs anymore.
Yeah, so, but anyway, I got that card. I got that Jay Cutler autograph rookie card, and I swore one day he's going to win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to have this card. Like I said, I thought it was going to be worth like $1 million in my head as a teenager, right? Even if he won, it would have been worth like a few $100. But I bought this magazine, like I just showed you before. I bought this magazine, and I was like, oh, you know, because I was looking up the price on that card. And if you look on the page on there, it's $150 back then, you know what I mean? Which was a big deal, man. So I was juiced on that card, you know. And of course, Jay Cutler, even though he was solid his whole career, he never won anything. So, you know, I mean, the value's obviously pennies on the dollar.
You know, it's when you as you say that, reminds me of a conversation that I had with one of your other guys on YouTube that you like to watch his channel, Flipping Steve. Yeah, and Flipping Steve's been in the card game for a long time, and he told me, he's like, dude, when I got in the late 90s, early 2000s, like running backs and wide receivers were at the same value as quarterbacks. It was wide open for skill positions, defensive players, and quarterbacks. They were all valued the same. If you were an elite athlete in your position, then you were valued the same as another elite athlete in the quarterback position, per se.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny about that too is I also came back in the hobby, and you know, I'm a '80s '90s kid, right? So like for me, I gravitate to the cards that I or the players that I grew up like idling, right? So like I'm a huge Curtis Martin fan, right? Like Curtis is my guy, like through and through. Is when I look at any player on earth, like I'm like Curtis Martin is just the guy, But I came back in and I started buying vintage. I was like, man, I gotta have like and now a lot of people won't consider this vintage. I guess you'd call it modern. It's not ultra modern, but it's modern. Like Marvin Harrison rookie cards. Who was another one? Marshall Falk. Torrey Holt, guys like that, like guys like I just loved watching growing up. So I went out and like I bought myself, like I treated myself. One of the first PSA. I've never had a graded card in my life. First graded card I ever bought when I got back in the hobby. I treated myself to a Curtis Martin PSA 8 rookie card.
Oh,
And
cool.
I was stoked, man. I was like, I can't even believe like I own this card, like. And to someone else, it's like, well, it's just a Curtis Martin card, but it's like that's the collector in me. That card has no value, like I didn't pay through the roof for it, but for me, it just there's no value on it. I just want to have it in the PC. I just want to look at it, and even though he's in a Patriots uniform, which is, oof, I it's a prized possession now.
You guys have a legitimate shot at beating the Patriots. I mean, but you guys have kind of done pretty well against the Patriots over the years, surprisingly. Like that game at the end of the season, I feel like every time the Patriots are historically have been like on an undefeated run, and then they play the Jets, or is that Miami? It's like Miami or the Jets deep.
I think you're thinking of the Giants. The Giants always manage to put the Patriots in their place when they're riding on the high horse.
Oh, that's true. They did have the Super Bowl upset with Eli Manning.
Yeah, but that's not the only time they've done that. I mean, actually, historically, the Jets have always, especially in the last 20 years, the Jets have done historically quite horrible against the Pats. But I remember, quick story, 2008, I think it was. Me and my father went to. I bought my dad a gift. It was the Jets versus Patriots at the new stadium, MetLife Stadium, and I just remember going to that game and thinking like, oh, it was like, I don't know. I think it was only like the second game of the year or something. It was a home game, and I'm like, oh yeah, like we could be good this year. We might, and we got drubbed, man. I bought I think we were 13 rows off the corner of the end zone, and I was just like, it was like 200 at the time. I think it was like $250 a ticket, and I was just like, yeah, like we're gonna go. We're gonna whoop these. Then we're gonna whoop the Patriots, man. It's gonna be a great season. And we just got drubbed. I mean, they wrecked us in our own house. I just remember walking out of that game. It was like carrying the hangover from the night before. You know what I mean? It was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah. I've been there. That's how I felt last year when the Chicago Bears beat us on Thursday Night Football, and I had to do a live stream immediately afterwards.
Yeah, it's tough, man. If you're, depending on how serious you take it, I mean, it can really wreak some havoc on the emotions, right?
Yeah, for sure. What's up, T-Mo in the house? He said Polly wants a prism.
Sorry about them birds, man. I thought they were getting quiet.
What's up, Josh? Oh, no, it doesn't bother me. It's kind of like therapeutic. I feel like
it's so funny you just said therapeutic. I was gonna finish that sentence for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what you're gonna say?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a calming effect from the birds there in the background. So you bought some absolute slabs, and you pivot from that into vintage,
yeah.
and you found my channel, so you were able to and you found Flipping Steve, and you found Pittsburgh, and you found Ziggy. I don't know if I shout out to Ziggy earlier, but I appreciate Ziggy's content big time, and Ziggy, so you've been consuming.
I'll say one thing. I I
Okay.
respect that. One thing I really respect about Ziggy is he does not give a damn what you think. Like he just cuts it. He cuts it dry, man. Like he doesn't. He's not worried about hurting anyone's feelings. That guy, he just spits the truth. So I respect him for that. Ziggy's morning show. I try to catch that. In the mornings, like if I can catch it in the morning on the way to work or something. But yeah, Ziggy's good, man. And there's a lot of good content out there. But like I said, I mean, I try to keep it all in check. This is just a hobby for me. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
families first. You know what I mean? Like I try to
Yep.
keep it like realistic. But when you come into it and now you're trying to take on this mentality, like I said, my mentality for buying cards and selling cards is I'm not necessarily looking to make a huge profit. I'm just trying to roll one card into the next, right? Like I want to take that Joe Burrow that really means nothing to me, and I want to turn it into that Zach Wilson autograph PSA 10 slab that I'm drooling over. You know what I mean? Like that to me is investing in cards, right? Like, because you're really investing in cards. Like the guys who say like, "Hey, I'm investing in cards," but they're taking their money and they're putting a down payment on a car. You're making money, and that's cool, and I totally respect that because I respect everyone's hustle. Like everyone has their right to do what they want with the hobby and treat as long as they treat it with respect, right? But for me, man, I just love rolling the cards into cards. So if that means selling a card, taking the money and buying another card, or selling a card, saving up some money and then buying another card, or flipping a card or trading a card, then I'm in, man. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
No, I think that really kind of embodies and symbolizes the quest that I stand for as well. I want to continually flip these cards and reinvest it into bigger and better cards, like you're saying, trade up. Almost, I've heard some people refer to it as the Sasha T method because he's done that quite well.
Yeah.
In his card career. What's up, Green Bay? Braden, the pack opener. Josh Williams in the house. Rodney Moore with the Amen. So Jason asked, do you have that one player? So when you were watching the draft, your big draft guy, not your fantasy draft, but the actual NFL draft that just took place in April. Who is the one guy that you're targeting? Now, you may not be targeting him now. Maybe you are. I heard Score Chrome's got an incredible look to it. Got Prism Draft Picks that was just released. Those cards, I think, on the elite college players are kind of flippable until the rated rookies from Donruss come out in September, and the Mosaic, and then, Optic and Prism and Select and all blah, 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 blah. So who's that one player from the draft that you're like, you're on it whenever, besides Zach Wilson? I know Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but for me, Zach Wilson, like if I rip a Zach Wilson, or I flip to get to a Zach Wilson, to me that Zach Wilson is just a PC card, right? Like I'm not gonna make any money off of that. But like I liked last year's class actually better than I like this year's class. But you know what I mean? Like and I don't, I guess I don't want to say like I'm trying to get out. What I will say is this: I like value, right? So like, I know I'm kind of reaching for my own team again here a little bit, but like I really like that Elijah Moore card, and right now because he was a second round pick, and he was I think like the 5th or 6th wide receiver drafted, he's just so undervalued. So for me, like looking when I go on eBay, like right now there's just Score Out, right? So like I got an Elijah Moore scorecard, but what's that? You know what I mean? Like that thing's not worth much of anything. But I think that once like Prism and Optic come out and stuff like that later on in the fall, like that's a card that I'll go after, because I will flip that, because I think that I can still get like a version of the card that I want to keep for my PC, but I do believe that that's a card that's going to end up growing in value rapidly, because I think that, following the team, knowing what's going on in OTAs and how they're doing, and how he's progressing with the new quarterback, I can firmly spend the money on that card and say, hey, I know what I'm going to get on my return. The only thing that's going to stop him from doing good is injury. So, all right, I'll take my, my $100 investment. I'll buy, whatever. If he, like I said, he's a second round pick. So I'm assuming the cards are going to be relatively inexpensive, depending on how rare the rookie card is, right? Because a lot of these guys, when they're second round picks or third round picks or whatever they are, they're not cranking out as many as the first rounders, right? So it does affect the value of the rookie, right? Because scarcity is also has to be taken into account when you're thinking about this type of stuff. So as a second round pick, he might be a little more scarce, but his prices will be low until he blows up. And then if he blows up, well, now you got the scarcity factor and you have the fact that you paid pennies on the dollar for the card. So now you're doubling down, right? Like you just made a bunch of money because you paid nothing for the card. You got a less print run, right? So now you got something that's a little bit more valuable in the sense of scarcity. So now you really double dipped, I mean, so that's a card I like, but there's a lot of guys. I think this draft class was good. There's no question that there's talent there. I like Pitts, right? Over Kyle Pitts over in Atlanta. I think that Matt Ryan, they have one wide receiver there, right? Which I'm in love with Ridley. I think he's awesome. But Kyle Pitts is only he's really their only second option. It's the only other option they have to throw the ball to, is the way I look at it. So I think they're going to force feed him, and he's going to be the underneath guy, and he's going to be the seam guy. And yeah, I could see Kyle Pitts really, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Kyle Pitts is well known, right? Everyone knows he was like pretty much the number one prospect coming out. I think everyone assumed as far as athlete goes. He was top the draft board, but that guy, I mean, you can't go wrong there. You invest in a guy like him, he's going to get a ton of targets. He's going to get a ton of red zone. He's got a good quarterback. I mean, the only thing that can do them wrong down there is that offensive line. And if that offensive line, can hold up, I think that, you're looking at a good investment there. Jamar Chase, another good pick. I like that. Jamar Chase, I actually got an autographed rookie card of him. He meets up with his boy from LSU, right? Joe Burrow over in the on the Bengals. And, I mean, that's an instant connection there because they already worked it. I think that that's a good investment too. I mean, there's great cards out there. There's no question. These guys are going to be good. It's just waiting for the opportunity to buy the right sets, right? Like, go back to my first thing, it's like, yeah, buy up score. I've bought a ton of score, for me and my kid to rip for fun. And I've gotten some good cards. I got two gold Trevor Lawrence cards, you know what I mean, which are cool. But I mean, like you said, these guys are in college uniform. There's a really short window to flip them if you want to sell them. And guys want to wait, and they want to wait until the fall and get the real sets, the real money makers. So, right now is a buy time. I know you're doing it. I'm watching you do it. I'm doing it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping that Star Stock gets hot, once the season starts, and I can make some money there too.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping the activity on Star Stock picks up. You and I have been messaging back and forth and about Star Stock, and you shared with me something very interesting that I thought was interesting. You sent them some cards, right? That what you thought met their submission criteria because it was an autographed card.
Yeah. Actually, so they sent, I thought it was just one card. So I sent in a roughly, I'm gonna say it was roughly around like 55 cards. And of course I just missed the window where it was free, so I had to pay per card. But I didn't mind, because I figured it's a good investment. And I sent in a bunch of cards. One of the cards I sent in was actually it was an Allen Robinson. Now this isn't the auto version. This is just the regular version. But I have the autograph version of this as well. So I sent that in. I figured that'd be a nice little, like money maker. I like Allen Robinson, and I know a lot of people have him high as far as like, he's been solid and he's still relatively young. I know you talk about age apex, and he's still under it. And you know,
Yes,
for
sir.
me, I just figured to get that card uploaded on there and make a quick buck on it. And everyone likes a nice autograph, and that was a nice autograph. But yeah, so what I did was I went through a bunch of cards and I went through the sets because they tell you on the website, hey, you know, like we only accept this set, this set, this set, this set. So I'm like, all right, well, I got all my, you know, my mosaics and I got all my optics and I have all my rated rookies, you know, Don Russes and all that stuff. And then, you know, in fine print down low or whatever, or somewhere along there on the website, it says, also, we also take numbered cards and autograph cards, but it doesn't specify that it has to be to those sets. So I went through the rest of my cards and I was like, oh, well, I got like a, you know, like a numbered Jimmy Garoppolo from like, you know, I don't know, Chronicles or something from last year. And I had just all these random cards that were numbered and autographed. So I sent them in with it. And then I noticed my Allen Robinson, because that was the only one I really cared about the most. I noticed my Allen Robinson didn't get uploaded. So I emailed, I just sent a message to you just to ask, because I figured you probably had sent in autograph cards before and you would know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And you
sent
said,
in a
yeah,
bunch.
I've sent in a bunch of auto cards. I've never had a problem. So I emailed their you know, tech support, and they got right back to me. I mean, they were great, but they just told me that those cards were denied and they were going to send them back to me. It was $5 to send them back to me, and they sent them back to me. They didn't really give me a justification. They just simply said that they weren't accepting these cards. And they sent them
It
back.
looks like they've changed, you know, here on their website under the frequently asked questions and answers. It looks like they've changed their submission. So I'm looking at other Panini brands. It doesn't actually specify anymore the autographed, you know, exception or kind of like loophole. Like if you had it autographed or serial numbered. See, we do not accept any raw insert cards such as rookie debut, NBA, NFL debut, emerging, etc., unless it's numbered autograph or set explicitly listed above. However, we do accept any licensed rookie cards if they're graded. So it seems like that they've added that one catch.
Yeah,
That if that Allen Robinson card was graded, then they would accept
they
it.
took it. Yeah, yeah. I don't. You
I
know,
didn't
I
realize
got
they
it.
changed that. I need to do an
Yeah.
updated video, bro. That's on.
So yeah, lesson learned there. You know what I mean? It wasn't a big deal. I didn't really care that much. You know, they charged me $5 to send the cards back, and you know what? The cards came back packed beautifully. Nothing was damaged. I was happy with that. The customer care guy, he was straight. He got right back to me. So you know, in that sense, they were good. I guess you know they just needed to make that update, and they obviously made it. So it's you know I'm glad that they did, so nobody else goes through that. But you know, I was just you know, in my mind, like I said, I was thinking quick dollar, but I could sell that card on eBay and probably make a quick buck on it. It's just for me, when I sell on eBay, I just hate all the fees and the ship it. You know, I mean, I know the shipping's easy, but you just get all these like wacky people asking for, you know, can you ship internationally? Can you do this? Can you do that? I'm like, oh God, man, I just want to. Do you want the card? Meet me at 7-Eleven, man. I'll give you the card.
There you
You
go.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Michael Ham met me at Lowe's parking lot.
Yeah, see,
He
there you
said, no
go. Cutting
problem.
deals, bro. That's what I'm
An
talking
expert,
about.
man.
And how about the lady you met on Facebook that you went and scrounged some cards from, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Silverfish were crawling out of the box. He said, it's okay. This is normal. They like cardboard. They'll fit right in at my house. I'll give you $20 for this whole box. We're good to go, right?
Hey, man, you know, you cut a deal. You make it happen. That's it, man. Yeah, absolutely.
No, so this has been fun, Matt. I'm
Yeah,
excited, man. I think you have a lot of great information that you can provide through your own experiences. Kind of similar to what I have done. You know, whenever I run into something, I'm like, man, I really learned an important lesson there. I got to share that kind of thing.
yeah,
And there's just not a whole lot of us out there creating, you know, content, sharing our experiences and lessons learned, and being fully transparent. Like, yeah, I thought it was a silver. I didn't know the difference between because the first prism I bought was a Dak Prescott rookie card, and
okay.
it was a silver. So I'm like, well, then that's a base prism, right? All base prisms are shiny like that, right? You know, I didn't
Yeah,
realize that
but
that was a special thing for 2016 and 2017. Panini just wanted to mess with your head.
Yeah, it's real, man. I'm telling you, I'm still learning about the sets. I mean, if I could trust anything to anybody, it's still all about the sets. Knowing what cards in the sets have value, knowing the lasers and discos and snake skins, and you know what I mean. You know when you pull something like that, you got something. But for the most part, like base prism and all these different variants of cards and inserts, and just knowing where the value is. You know, if you're really in this for making money, that's your ticket, man. Knowing what's what, because if you go into this thing blind like I did, or like, you know, I like you had said, you kind of did the same thing. I mean, you go out and you spend money, and it's, you know, I don't want to call it wasted money, because no card to me is, has no value. But you know, these are just things that for an investor or someone who's looking to make money, it's wasted, you know. But for a guy like me, man, I get a card like that and I realize I made a mistake. You know what I do? Hey MJ, come here, man. And I pass it off to him in a sleeve, and he thinks he just got gold, man. He's stoked. You know what I mean? Cool. In that moment right there, the $5 I blew on that card, it was all worth it, because he doesn't care who it is. Dad just gave me this card, and it's the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? So, you know, in that sense, for me, you know, I don't really care. But as an investor, if I'm throwing money away on cards that really just have no value, you know, it's all in the sets, man. Study your sets, know your cards, know the print runs, know the pop counts, know all these things, and you'll do fine. But as a collector, more so, I don't really mind. I just want to roll up all these cards and turn it into the next, you know, Joe Namath PSA 10, you know, and hang it up on the wall.
The big tobacco card, like the tall one.
Real quick. This is my first card I've bought myself that's like a Grail card, and it is a tall card. It's a Don. For me, that there, I'm sorry if I can't get it right, but that there is just, you know, has no value.
That's the Don Maynard. That's the one that my dad had in his hand at the shop. Not the exact card, but the same player.
No, it's not the exact same one. This is a tall one. This is one of the tall.
Yeah, that's the tall one.
But yeah, this is a 65 tops, and the other one was also 65, I believe, but it was not the tall set. Might have been the year after. I'm not sure, but I can tell you right now, like cards like that, man, they just, you know, if I can get to those by selling more cards, then that's you know, that's my investment. That's my goal.
That's a cool card. That's a cool card.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I got a couple things, you know. I mean, like I said, you know, PC stuff for me is really where it's at, because it's like look behind the wall, right? Like all that stuff behind you, you know. I mean, that's stuff that means something, you know. And that's, you know, I got to tell you, I've met some, so far coming back into the hobby, and now that social media is a major part of it, and YouTube and stuff like that, I've met some cool dudes, man. I mean, like, I think I mentioned earlier, I go on Pix's auctions on Sundays, and there's a guy in there. I want to say it's David. I don't want to blow it, but there's a guy in there, and like, you know, we'll battle it out for a card, right? We'll go back and forth, tit for tat for this card, and then usually it's lots, right? And I'll be like, oh man, like, and we'll ask each other like, yo, who did you want in that lot, you know? And I'll be like, oh, and he'll, you know, this guy's always like, oh, well, I'll tell you what, like send Matt that card out of that lot, because he really wanted it, even though he didn't win the auction. You know, it's stuff like that. As Ziggy calls it, I think Ziggy calls it hobby love. You know what I mean? Like that stuff right there is invaluable. You're meeting good people who care about the hobby, people who have like the right mentality for the cards, right? Like, and so to me, you know, I kind of like that aspect of it all. You know, like I said, I'm definitely investing. I'm definitely, you know, have end game and goals, right? And anything you have goals and end game in is an investment. So, you know, just where it takes you and what you want to do with that investment is all up to you. So, like I said, I just put it back in the PC, but other guys buy cars.
Put it back in the PC, man. That's what I did with this one right here.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Is that Mark Bulger or no, Kurt Warner?
No, Mark Bulger.
Yo, you remember? You remember Mark Bulger, right?
Yeah. No, this fits magic, baby.
Oh yeah, check that out. There he is. No, that's my guy, by the way. He came to the Jets and he lit it up, man. He had a team over here with him.
That's right, man. That's
Yeah,
right.
he had Eric Decker, Brandon Marshall. They both went over 1,000 yards that year.
Boom. Well, so you can only imagine what Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel about to do.
I'll tell you right now, a little hint. I put some money in on those boys, both of them. Curtis Samuel, I bought a 9-card lot off eBay for like $8 of rated rookie Don Russ without the helmets. And I uploaded them on StarStock. Got 9 StarStock A's out of that. Can you believe that? $8 off eBay. 9 Curtis Samuel StarStock A's off of eBay.
And you had it sent directly there.
No, I wasn't savvy enough to do that at the time, to be honest with you.
What card was this?
That was the rated rookie.
2017, I believe.
Yeah, it has the blue trim, no helmet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Blue trim, no helmet, 2017.
Yeah, it's not a big value card yet, but that guy pops off the page a little bit, and
he's a sleeper.
Get a couple bucks off of that. I just thought that was a good investment.
StarStock A's, those will pop at some point.
That's what I mean. It was less than $1 card.
It's magic.
Less than $1 card. How do you go wrong on that?
Cha-ching.
Yeah, right. And then AJ, and then I bought up some AJ Browns. And my secret weapon this year. I already told you, right? I mean, I don't mind sharing it with the audience, but I'm just waiting for that. I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody, but
that's the ultimate play, man. To invest in the backup QB that gets the start and blows up.
The brisket sandwich, baby.
The brisket sandwich.
Go get yourself some brisket, boys, because I'm telling you, Jacoby Brissett he's gonna start for Miami.
They're serving brisket Cubans down in Miami.
I'm telling you, it's coming. I feel it. I put all kinds of money in that boy. I never understood why Indy didn't stick with him. I mean,
he played pretty solid.
He played pretty well for them, and they didn't give him a whole lot. I mean, he had Ty, and that was about it. And Ty is running out of gas. I mean, you put him in Miami with all these kids now. They just drafted who would they grab? Not Jamar Chase.
What, in Indianapolis?
No, Miami. They drafted a wide receiver.
Oh, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. They got Waddle down there now. They got
Will Fuller.
Yeah, then they got.
And I thought Will Fuller was going to miss a lot more games this year for some reason, but he's only going to miss the first game.
Yeah, but he's another one, right? Will Fuller some of these guys just injury prone. He's always hurt, man.
Ever since he cut off the dreads, though, dreads last year. He didn't get hurt, but he did get popped for, or it could have been the steroids or the human growth hormones he was taking.
It could have been, but
maybe that's why he didn't get hurt. So we'll see what happens this year.
But I'll tell you, man, Terry is Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin. Those guys there I think you can't miss. I think those are good investment cards. You can get, good rookies. And those deals are cheap too. I mean, right now they're so low. I mean, buy now, it's not going to take much. Like you said, I mean, it's going to take 3 games in the season. These guys are having big games. And next thing you know, you're going to be selling these things off quick. I mean, Ridley's a big play for me. I got him in your card, your triple card deal there. Right?
Oh, nice, man. That's right. You got, I want to say Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Sam Darnold. Yeah.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
And then your running back pick, was it J.K. Dobbins?
J.K. Dobbins.
I'm
on him too, man. The Ravens just always run the ball, man. They love to run that rock. He's like a bowling ball, man. This guy, he reminds me of like a Maurice Jones-Drew type. I just see it. I just see that kid running for 1,000 yards and like 10 touchdowns easy. They love getting that rock in there and getting it in the red zone. The only person who's going to take away on the running threat is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Lamar Jackson.
They got the Gus. I think they still got the Gus Bus.
Yeah, got Gus the Bus, man.
Yeah, they got some guys there, but
Justice Hill's still buried on the depth chart too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Dobbins though, Dobbins looks like a stud to me. I don't know. I like him.
Yeah,
You
true.
like
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on Clyde Edwards-Helaire? You like him?
I
know you got
like
that
him
crazy
because of the I like him
I know
because
you
of the
got the
team
tie
he's
dye.
on. Well,
I saw
I
you.
know he struggled a little bit at the goal line last year. That was kind of the complaint against him, and he
Yeah.
struggled in pass blocking a little bit, and that's why they brought on Le'Veon Bell to help school him up in pass blocking for Mahomes. But they definitely beefed up the O line, so they're trying to protect Mahomes, right? And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a really good all-purpose skill set. I mean, look at his
Yeah.
receiving ability in at LSU, and last year, I mean, he did go off. Like, I mean,
No,
I remember quite a few games where he did go off, and it was like, man, this guy is good. Like, he is a good runner and receiver. So,
yeah. No
with the
doubt.
team environment, I feel really good about. That's why I bought that tight end. Plus, it was just a really good price point
It's
on
a
a card that rare. They're just
Yeah,
not floating
yeah. And
around,
it was
and
and
so
it's a nice looking card too, right? I mean, like
yeah,
so part of the whole hobby too is enjoying the artwork. I mean, some of
yeah,
these
for
cards, I
sure,
mean,
dude.
they're dope, man. They're just like I like looking at some of them. They're just nice to look at. But I got one last question for you, if you don't mind, is thoughts on Justin Jefferson. Now, I
Uh-oh.
bought some Justin Jefferson. I'm not gonna lie, I
Yeah,
bought some Justin Jefferson. I like the guy. I think he's got it. I
yeah.
don't like his QB sitch, and I just I don't know if I just don't trust the Vikings. You know, like I could see him going in there and being like the new Stephon Diggs. They got Adam Thielen, who's a stud. You know what I mean? And they got they got Kyle Rudolph there, tight end. Is he still there?
Uh, Kyle Rudolph is not there in Minnesota anymore. Irv Smith is the tight end sleeper in Minnesota.
Okay. Oh, see, I got you to give us a little gem there.
Yeah, man. Where did Kyle Rudolph go?
I don't
Oh
remember.
man, it's on the tip of my tongue. One of these guys would know in the
Did
chat.
he go to the Giants?
Yes, he did go to the
He went to the
Giants.
Giants.
That's right. They
Yeah.
were talking about him taking over for Evan Ingram.
Yeah. Well, he's been struggling, right? Like I remember when he came out, and everybody was like, "Oh, Evan Ingram's he's gonna be the guy." He's like the next freaking Greg Olson, and nah. But yeah, man. So
I love investing in Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, you like him, right? So,
dude, jump on that.
I just bought this from your boy on Kenny. This Justin Jefferson silver score rookie, and I just kind of liked the card, to be honest with you. But
yeah, it's shiny.
Yeah,
it's got an action pose. I like the zoomed in pose on it.
Yeah, it's nice. But that's gonna be a flip card for me. Like that's a card where like I'll sell that and see if I can't get a little more than what I paid for it. But yeah, I just I don't follow enough about Minnesota. I know like we just talked about AP, and I was big on Adam Thielen for a while in fantasy football. Like I would draft him a lot in fantasy when they had Diggs over there with him, and he was just putting up monster numbers.
Mr. Reliable.
Oh, yeah. Monster numbers. Then I traded him off to my cousin in our dynasty league, and he got injured, and I felt so bad, man. I ripped him hard. I was like, it wasn't on purpose. I didn't know he was going to get hurt, but I made out so well on it.
Now they got the Phenom, man. The Phenom. No, that's good stuff. But with 2020, with so many different options to pick from, just like being an investor and a flipper, really focusing in. Like I've focused in big time on the field level silvers.
Yeah.
Just once I gained an understanding from the guys that are opening a lot of retail product, a lot of seal wax of this set of 2020 select. In this case, been like, look, I opened 10 mega boxes and I only got 10 field level cards. Like that's a rare card. That's a short print card. Those aren't just easy to come by, but with so many options, they just get like kind of, they get washed under the rug, and they kind of go under the radar until they have the time to.
That happened over here at this house. Remember, I sent you a message. I watched your video about the field levels, and I was kind of like, and I bought, I had gotten a mega box. Actually, the one time I waited in line at Target, I showed up at like 8:05, and there was like 10 people in front of me, and I'm like, I'm not going to get any select football. And I got up there, and there was a mega left, and I bought it. I went home and I ripped it. I got whatever I sent you in that picture. I think it was like 8 field levels, different variants of them. But anyway, I put them away because some of them weren't even like rookies. There was a few rookies, but some of them were just like tight ends. Who would I have there? Kittle.
Yeah.
And,
you had and you had a lot of die cuts. A lot of them were die cuts.
Yeah. So, a lot of die cut. I got to tell you, man, die cuts don't do anything for me. Like I just bought an Antonio Gibson green die cut rookie card, which I really like Antonio Gibson a lot. He's someone I would invest a lot of money into. But I guess I'm hot on the Redskins this year. I keep talking about Redskins for some reason. But anyway, yeah.
It's the Washington football team now, Matt.
Oh, yeah. I know. That pains me, man. It pains me. How do you change tradition? I mean, I get it. I'm all for, all that stuff. But
or the Washington Red Hawks or the Red Foots
they're going to have something this year. They said they're not going to stick with the Washington football team.
Yeah, the Red Wolves. The Red Wolves are on there. Their name selection right now.
They have a list out.
Hilarious.
Do they have?
Yeah, there's a list out. They're actually taking bets on what name there's going to be selected from Vegas.
Yeah, I didn't hear this yet. And I listen to a ton of sports talk radio on the way, like back to and from work, and I have not heard a word about this. Although I know Rob Snyder had mentioned last year they were going to do 1 year of this Washington football team, and then they were going to have next year new logo and new nickname. But it's just they're a storied franchise, to be honest, right? I mean, they haven't been great lately, but they're they got a lot of history. I think they have like 2 or 3 Super Bowls. I mean, they're not like some bum franchise, and they have a lot of history there. It's hard to take a team, and just change them like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
for
hey,
sure.
you got to do what's right. You know what I mean? You got to do what's right for the people, and it is what it is. But I'm hey man, you know what? They got some good football players over there in Washington. Chase Young is a beast. I tell you what, I do think that's another thing that's coming up in the future. I think these defensive cards are going to start going up. I think you're going to see, now that Star Stock takes defensive cards, I think that's going to help play out in the rise of defensive players. I mean, I happen to like a lot of defensive players in the league as a whole. I think that defensive players hold a lot of value to these franchises. I don't know why it doesn't carry over to cards right now, but seeing platforms like Star Stock start to accept them, and guys like Chase Young and Nick Bosa and guys that came out, I mean, you can't shy away and say that these guys aren't just as bringing just as much entertainment to the TV as these guys catching the ball. You know what I mean? Like, I get juiced when I see somebody get sacked. You know what I mean? I'm just as entertained by a sack as I am a touchdown. So don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping the defensive cards go up. I got some good stuff on defense, so I'd love to send some defensive cards into Star Stock and see those numbers rise up a little bit.
That would be a blast, man. I would love to see that as well, because I mean, I feel like I could go right now to Beckett Marketplace and just like have Christmas in July with some defensive players. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, back in I hate to say like our day, like we're old or something, but growing up, in the late 80s, early 90s, football wasn't all like long balls. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of hard-nosed defense, a lot of running the ball. You know what I mean? Like, the game has evolved so much since, like, at least since I started watching football. I mean, now it's like, the rocks all over the yard, but even 10 years ago, I mean, they didn't sling the ball like they do now. I mean, quarterbacks are throwing for, over 4,500, 5,000 yards a year. And I mean, you're like, what? Like, what's going on here? But, I mean, hey, it's the game, and everyone loves scores. Everyone likes points, and, so that's
Joe Burrow is probably going to break that record this year.
He might. Hey, listen, I just bought a couple of Joe Burrow rookies. So
there you go.
You know,
What about this question from Michael Carnegie? What's up, bro? Appreciate your question here. I actually like this question. I like it because I think it's a good question because I've got a pretty clear answer in my head on this one. But who do you got, Matt?
I hate saying it, but I'm going Baker.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like Baker per se as a I don't know. He's a field general. You can say whatever you want to say about him as far as his like cockiness and arrogance, but he's a field general. And you know, he's athletic. He makes plays with his feet and his arm. And to me, it just seems like Lamar Jackson has this injury upside that scares the hell out of me. An investment, like a long-term investment. If you're short-term, if you're buying Lamar to flip him, dude, you're going to make a killing. If you can get a good deal on a card and just hold out until the season starts and then week 1 you sell him, and you're going to do great. If you're thinking you're going to buy this guy and sit on him, dude, for me, it's a no-brainer. This guy's outside of the pocket more than any other quarterback in the league. It's going to take one guy to come off the edge and go unblocked and decleat him. And unfortunately, you're going to see him either out for a long period of time or his career is going to end early because he's going to get banged up all the time. So for me, long term, I'm going Baker. I think that he's very talented. He's also got a lot of weapons. Odell, Jarvis. I mean, David Njoku. I mean, they got some stuff going on over there in Buffalo. I mean, on the Browns in Cleveland. But the easy answer for me, long term hold, is I'm going Mayfield. And short term, if you're going to buy it now at a low and flip it at the start of the season, then I'm going Lamar, because Lamar's cards are off the charts as far as pricing goes. I don't know how good of a deal you can get right now. I guess if you're getting if it was selling for $2,500 for a base rookie, couple months back, and you can get it for 2 or 18 right now, and then it picks back up to 25 or 3 at the beginning of the season because he has like a first really good game of the season, and you can make a quick $700-800. That's great. But yeah, for me, if I'm holding, and I usually hold, I usually hold everything. I'm going Baker Mayfield.
I get that. I get that for a long term, like drop a bunch of money you want to feel really good about investing in. I like the Baker Mayfield pick. The dude is funny off the field as well. And Lamar Jackson's not really. He's very serious, competitive athlete. Doesn't have that off the field humor and entertainment value that Baker Mayfield brings. You can have some fun and joke about himself, even, with Kevin Hart on TV. Like, that's funny. That's good stuff.
I got some killer laughs out of those commercials with him as living in the stadium. I thought those were.
Oh, dude!
I got to tell you,
I should use some of those clips in my videos. That's a great idea. Actually, you just gave me. I'm gonna go look up some Baker Mayfield those commercials.
Man. I'm sorry, but those videos are so classic. The commercials are classic, but yeah. That's my direction, man. I mean, Michael, if you're in for the quick flip, you go Lamar. I mean, if you're sitting on that kind of cash, you can jump in on one of those. Go ahead, man. But I don't know. You know what? I don't know what the price point is though right now for Mayfield. So
that's the thing. So that's what I was gonna say is like.
He might be up there on the numbers. I don't know.
He is. So when you look at the 2018 elite quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen clearly his prism is triple digits. Baker Mayfield's, though, is getting up there. Like, specifically when I compared their Donruss. So Josh Allen's base Donruss with no helmet is almost up to $100. That raw card is trading for $75, $80. Baker Mayfield's is trading for $40 to $45, believe it or not. And Lamar Jackson's, though, can still be bought right now for $30 to $35. It's at the low end of that. And that's why my initial knee-jerk reaction to Michael's question here was Lamar Jackson, just because I'm always in cards, like I'm looking for the comparable value.
Sure.
I'm always trying to find that correlation. The same reason why, not only did I have a lot of respect and personal collection value for the Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I'm like, the same card in Aaron Rodgers is selling for $6,000. Like, it's just a fraction for pennies.
I agree, and I'll tell you right now, man. If I could get in on I think Josh Allen, man, is the next face of the NFL. I think that when Brady hangs him up, man, he's gonna carry. You know, I mean, there'll be other guys, but Josh Allen is just an animal, man. He playing against him in the division and getting to watch him a couple times a year, and obviously, you know, now with you know, being able to stream just about any game you can watch, you know, every game. He's just that guy's a stud. He's a specimen. I mean, I think he makes the guys around him better. I think he's one of those guys who he's just so talented. He's big. He's got a presence. I mean, that guy it's crazy. He's in Buffalo, right? Like one of the smallest markets in the NFL, and yet he commands so much respect, and he's just, for a young dude. I see Josh Allen, like I said, in the next like year or two, if not next year. I mean, Mahomes, of course, is the guy, right? Like everybody's like, oh, Patty Mahomes is, you know, but Josh Allen isn't far behind, and I tell you, man, he's a likable dude. I mean, he you know, I like Patrick Mahomes, and he can sling the ball, but man, I gotta say, I think they're on the same playing field. I mean, they both make good plays with their legs. I think they both have rocket arms. You know, it's just one's in a bigger market than the other, and you know, I mean, how close was Buffalo? I mean, Buffalo almost made it all the way. You know, and
real close.
You know, I mean,
Bills Mafia is strong.
I look forward to games where I can watch like a Pat Mahomes versus a Josh Allen, because those kinds of games, man, it's like watching Brady and Manning, you know, 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's just, these guys are animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll
just end it there with the fact that Tom Brady is the GOAT over all of them.
That's the truth. Hey, man, I hate saying it. It hurts me to say it, but I was just having this conversation the other day, and you can't take it away from him. The guy is the best football player to ever play the game. I mean, some people try to throw the Montana out there, and I love Joe Montana, but Tom Brady is the guy, man. That's what it boils down to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right, guys. You heard it right there from Matt Vescovi. Dude, thank you so much for your support on the channel, and your insight, your comments. I learn a ton. I learn a ton from you guys in the comments that you guys leave me. And as Michael Carnegie is saying, last question. He's like, wait, I got another question. So we'll have to answer. We won't leave you hanging, Michael. I guess I'll ramble for another second. Just want to thank you again, Matt, for your support on the quest and your feedback that you provided me. That's elevated my game to the next level. A lot of you guys out there have really elevated my game to the next level with the feedback and just the thought-provoking comments that you guys leave me on my videos. It's incredible. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for giving me the opportunity and platform to get out here and like let people see my face. You know, like I said, I'm on a few channels quite a bit. I know, like, you know, people probably see me in the chat on Steve with you know, Ziggy and Pittsburgh and stuff like that. And, you know, keep saying I'm going to do it. I'm going to start a channel. I'm going to put some content out. I feel like I have a lot to say and a ton to like show and hopefully give like good advice and just talk the hobby. But, you know, it's been hard for me to break this barrier and, you know, muster up the courage to get out here. And you reaching out to me and being like, hey, man, like, you sound like you know some stuff and you got some good stories. Let's get together and you know, wrap it up. I thought that was awesome, and I appreciate it. So thanks for having me on, and thanks for the opportunity, man. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I feel that you provided value in your stories tonight that people can definitely relate to and learn from. And so let's take this last question from Michael Carnegie. Why are running backs and wide receivers so undervalued compared to QBs? Man, well, that's a very big can of worms. But I mean, essentially, in a nutshell, it's just I think that they used to be valued as much as QBs, and they should be, right, but they're undervalued based on the playing time and the spotlight time, and the length that they play, their career arc. The age apex is real. Their production starts to significantly drop off once they hit that 30-year. That they start to get about 28 for a running back and 30 for a wide receiver, and you got quarterbacks though that are now like Tom Brady playing into their mid 40s, or Ryan Fitzpatrick or Aaron Rodgers. These guys are still playing at a very high level, well into their late 30s and 40s.
I think there's two easy answers to that question. Number one is the only person on a team everyone knows is the quarterback. And the other answer is exactly what AC just said, and that's longevity, man. These guys, these quarterbacks, I mean, even a long time ago, these guys were playing, relatively long, up to like their mid 30s. And now it's just going even farther. These guys can play longer because of the rule changes and quarterbacks not being able to get hit as much. And, I mean, these guys in cards are always going to carry more value because they're a safe investment, right? You're not worried that the quarterback is going to get his head taken off on the next play, because odds are is that it's not going to happen. This game has just changed and evolved so much to be so quarterback friendly. It's almost like there's an invisible wall out there, and you don't have to worry about your investment. It's like having insurance on your car, right? It's a safe bet almost to say. I'm not saying guys don't get hurt and things, freak accidents don't happen and sacks don't happen, but I'm just saying you have a better chance of your quarterback staying healthy and your investment being safer there than you do with the running back who's getting hammered every play and the wide receiver who's getting hit, on every play. These guys are getting banged up every single play on every single game. And so their careers are just shorter. And as you said, AC, these guys, their careers are just, the average, I think they say the average career for a wide receiver or at least a running back is like in the NFL is like 3 to 4 years on average, which is insane when you think about it, because, you only get a couple unicorns a decade where you see a guy like AP who's lasted 13 years in the league, at running back. Those guys don't pop up a lot. So there's just not a lot to say as far as, investment wise in these types of players. So the card prices are always going to be higher on the quarterbacks. I mean, number one is like I said, they're the most seen face. They're the most recognizable player on the field to everyone. That includes casual fans and people who don't even watch the sport. Everyone knows who Patrick Mahomes is right now, right? I mean, so that's the answer to me. I mean, those are the two things that mean the most.
Yeah, no doubt. They're typically the face of the franchise, the signal caller, that lead singer of the band, or the like I relate it to my industry. I'm a sales engineer. I actually do the legwork for all these proposals that my national account manager then goes, and a lot of times I even present them for him because I understand the technical ins and outs of the project, and then he still gets the credit for the sale, and he gets recognized by the company for these big contracts and stuff like this, even though I put in all the work. And but it goes both ways. The both parts are critical. He's the face of the company. He maintains that relationship. He's got to kiss the babies and bring the donuts and all that kind of good stuff. And we all play to our strengths, right? Yeah. So that's the same thing with the quarterback and the running back, and you got to have all of those pieces fit together for a Super Bowl winning team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Just had to drop one more time.
I think JJ summed it up pretty good there too. The QB touches the ball on every snap.
Yeah,
that's basically the equivalent of what I was trying to say about being the most recognized player on the team. They just get all the recognition, and that's what it is. They touch the ball every snap. So, yeah, man. Hopefully the Jets will come out this year, set the world on fire. Maybe we could at least see a wild card. I'd take that, and then we'll go from there. But it sounds like with all your guys getting re-signed, you got a big year in front of you. I think you
big year.
Check yourself.
Take care. Take care.
All right, man. Well, listen, it was good rapping with you. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on. I got to get some sleep here. Busy day.
Yeah, those kids, they don't care how much sleep you get the night before.
They don't care. I was waiting for one of them to pop their head in over my shoulder. I was like, oh, it's only a matter of time. But then I ended up with birds, so you know.
No, it's all good, Matt. Matt, you've been a great guest. I really enjoyed this conversation. I had to go back and add some chapters because we're at an hour and 40 minutes. Something I've been trying to do, make it easier for people to navigate the videos that don't have a lot of time to sit and watch an hour 50-minute video. So I'll be sure to do that, guys, and I'll be back very soon. You know, I'm trying to run my little amateur rookie card shop here. You know, show you guys what I'm listing, what I'm buying every day, trying to get this thing ramped up, moving full speed, and it's just having fun, man. Just having fun at the end of the day.
Always fun on the quest, right?
That's it.
Yo, hey, by the way.
All right.
Got to get on that website and get me one of them T-shirts soon.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get on there.
Absolutely.
Get your likes. Everybody like my man AC here and get yourself a T-shirt, please.
All right, y'all. Yes. Yes, I appreciate you guys. And, yeah, I'll talk to y'all very soon. Peace. It's a good point, Matt. I appreciate you bringing up the Teespring T-shirt support, man.